All right, so this is our inaugural monthly mindfulness session for Meta, which is the name of my company that I use to kind of promote this stuff. And I am excited to be able to have created a space for us to explore mindfulness tools and methods for the sake of this kind of holistic well-being, right? Looking to take care of the mind, the body, and the spirit. And each session will be a different topic, and I'll announce it ahead of time via the Meta mailing list and LinkedIn. So I'm super active on LinkedIn. So if you are connected with me there, you'll get all of this information. And then you can also get on the mailer. I think you all are to have gotten here to this session, but you can check out the medaway.com. And so this is a regular opportunity for us to kind of check out of life's busyness just for a few minutes and check in with, again, the mind and the body, and hopefully learn a new tip or tool, and then we'll meditate for a few minutes. So I am so happy you all are here live, and whoever may catch it on demand, I'm really honored to be here with you as well. And so, as I mentioned, you can be visible or not. You can choose to interact or not. It's whatever works for you. I'll do sessions, and folks, I think, just come to be and absorb and to sit in some silence. And then others where, it might be a little bit more active in terms of chatter. But again, we'll open up time at the end, but please feel free if you are inclined to jump in. So just a little bit about me so you know who I am and who you're dealing with. Some of you here know me a lot better than others. My name is Kelly Arnold, and I live currently in Littleton, Colorado. I am a wife of 25 years and a mother to a 16-year-old son. I'm currently employed as a senior director of legal affairs in a telecom company. I've spent about 30 some years in a career of what I call risk management, and that is just very generally helping businesses protect themselves. And I've spent that time in a variety of roles. I'll save you the gory details, but just know that over that career, I've dealt with some pretty serious and heavy stuff at times. I've also in my life had my share of emotional struggles, like some pretty intense grief with the loss of my parents, some pretty tumultuous conflict, and then, in some cases, relationship loss. I'm also accident prone. I was born accident prone, so I have countless injuries and have had some illnesses as well. And I often joke that, like, I have the body of a combat vet, right? Like, I look physically like I've been through a couple tours. And also say, the mortician that does my autopsy is going to be like, what, the hell happened to this one? And so, needless to say, I've been subject to, as I think a lot of us, perhaps, a lot of stress in my life. And I tell folks that had I not come into my own, like, serious self-care practice 10 some years ago, I or somebody else would be dead by now. I'm sure of it. Probably me. And so about 10 years ago, I really kind of dove into some of these healthcare practices that I'm going to share with you in these sessions. And I really adopted this mindset of radical self-love, which is this kind of unwavering devotion to putting my wellness needs first and having a higher standard of care for myself because I knew my life kind of depended on it. And so I studied yoga and meditation for, many years, like 20 some years, and then certified as a meditation instructor during that time. I also certified as a holistic Ayurvedic health coach, and then also a Reiki master, which is, this kind of body of energy work. And I've done that within the last 9 years. And I mostly did all of that study and training and certification to further my own healing and my own wellness practice. But I found that given, like, my own profound transformation that I was able to realize in myself, it inspired me to share it with others. And so I've been teaching others alongside my day job this mindfulness and meditation stuff. And my teaching philosophy is again promote holistic well-being. We need to work on all parts of ourselves, right? Because they are intimately connected. We can't just have a healthy body and a mind that is kind of scattered and disorganized. And so I teach you to the best of your ability to strive and care for yourself with that kind of tone of radicalness to it, right? And I also champion an idea of something called micro self-care. So that is creating healthy habits and behaviors by incorporating just snippets of mindfulness and meditation in these practices throughout the day. So it's a few minutes, a couple times a day, that ends up making a huge difference for us over time. Because benefits like this come from consistency, not duration, right? What matters is that we're doing it a little bit every day, not that we're just doing it for an hour, one day a week. And we're training the mind a little bit each day towards calm and focused awareness, effectively making well-being a habit, a little bit at a time. And I call that this Medha Way. And this is particularly suitable for really busy people, right? Like I think I know everybody on this call is super busy. And so I teach a variety of very simple, practical tools and techniques and methods that have worked for me. And I encourage you to try them on here. And if you like, put it in your own self-care toolkit. Include what works for you and leave what doesn't. And then tap into those things a little bit every day. And so these monthly sessions are going to take that kind of micro form too. Today we might run just a little longer because of my intro here, but 30 minutes time. I'll introduce a topic for the first 15 minutes and then we'll meditate for about 10 minutes or so and then open it up for a little Q&A or exchange if you'd like. So if you're ready, let's jump into it. So this is an introduction to the practice of mindfulness. And so even though it's very cliche these days, like everybody knows it, right? Everybody's heard of it. I think it's one of the most misunderstood practices out there. Despite its very popular belief, it is not reserved for monks or yoga retreats. Or people like myself who own more than one crystal. Like anybody can do these things because it's a practical, science-backed skill that anybody can use. It only takes just a few minutes, your attention, and a dedication to keep coming back to it on a regular basis. And so today in our time, I'm going to try to break it down simply, like what is mindfulness? What does it do for us, and how can we practice it without overthinking it? And so, what is it? So, mindfulness has, I think, a variety of definitions, but is very simply this kind of present moment awareness. So, maintaining a quality of attention on the here and now, not letting ourselves get carried away by all the thoughts that are constantly going on in our head, or perhaps the emotions that are these kind of thoughts in motion or feelings, right? We can find ourselves lost in this like cycle of rumination where the thoughts are just going over and over and over. And who maybe you've recognized yourself lost in that way as well. I certainly have myself. And I believe that most of our stress comes from replaying the past, like what happened this morning, right, over and over, or rehearsing what may happen in the future. And so mindfulness is really about paying attention on purpose to the here and now because it helps lead us to better choice making, which then equals better outcomes for us. We often don't make the best choices or perform well from a distracted or overly emotional state. Who knows this? Like I know this well from like being completely reactive, saying something I shouldn't have said, and then that having some pretty serious consequences, right? And so awareness can be this kind of superpower for us, where we're able to take in people and situations and things with a heightened sense of clarity and understanding. And from this place, good things tend to come. And so I want to share now just a very brief YouTube clip. It's narrated by a fellow named Dan Harris. Some of you may know him. Dan was a former news anchor. He wrote a book called 10% Happier. I think he describes himself as a skeptic turned evangelist for meditation. And so I'm going to share now why mindfulness is a superpower for us. So let's take a look. Those that have been in other sessions with me have probably seen this one because I love it so much. So apologies if it's a duplicate. Here we go. All right. Close this.
You may have heard this word mindfulness. It's become something of a buzz phrase of late. I'm going to give you one simple, serviceable definition, which is this. Mindfulness is the ability to know what's happening in your head at any given moment without getting carried away by it. Imagine how useful this could be. Just as an example, you're driving down the road and somebody cuts you off in traffic. How do you normally react? I think most of us, we normally react by having a thought, which is, I'm pissed. And then what happens next? You immediately, habitually, reflexively inhabit that thought. You actually become pissed. There's no buffer between the stimulus and your reaction. With just a little bit of mindfulness, in that same situation, you might notice my chest is buzzing, my ears are turning red, I'm having a starburst of self-righteous thoughts, I'm getting angry. But you don't necessarily have to act on it and chase that person down the road, screaming at them with your kids in the back of the car thinking you've gone nuts. Now, you might be thinking, don't I need to get angry sometimes? Aren't I justified? I would say yes, but probably not as much as you think. The proposition here is not that you should be rendered by mindfulness into some lifeless, non-judgmental blob. The proposition is that you should learn how to respond wisely to things that happen to you, rather than just reacting blindly. And that, my friends, is a superpower. How do you get it? The way to get it is through meditation. I believe that meditation and mindfulness are the next big public health revolution. In the 1940s, if you told somebody you were going running, they would have said, who's chasing you? But then what happened next? The scientists swooped in, they showed that physical exercise is really good for you, and now all of us do it, and if we don't, we feel guilty about it. And that's where I think we're headed with mindfulness and meditation. It's going to join the pantheon of no-brainers like brushing your teeth, eating well, and taking the meds your doctor prescribed for you. Let me just close by saying, mindfulness is not going to solve all of your problems. It's not going to render your life a nonstop parade of unicorns and rainbows. Nonetheless, this is a superpower and one that is accessible by you immediately.
Okay, so as
This word mindfulness, it's become
please.
something of a buzz.
Okay, so as Dan says, it's not learning these things and practice these things. It's not going to make life all unicorns and rainbows, because being a human is hard. We all have our plights, right? We all have varying degrees of struggles that equate to suffering for us. We all suffer, but we can learn to deal with those challenges and difficulties better. We may even be able to encounter less difficult and bad things, and bounce back quicker when we do encounter those things, building something called resiliency, right? And we're able, in my kind of an analogy, to sail the sea of life better. So if you think of yourself as the boat in the ocean of life, these waves come along, right? Like some small, some really big. With mindfulness, you as the captain of your ship are able to sail with greater ease and navigation. You're able to glide over those small waves and able to stay steady and not capsize when those big tidal waves of life come through. So with mindfulness, it's really where we find our true power, being able to get ahead of our choices and reactions to create space for us to do life better and then affect these positive outcomes. And all of this stuff is backed by science, right? Solid research. This is not just about, ooh, good vibes, right? Like mindfulness produces measurable changes in key areas like stress and mental health, where research shows that mindfulness practices reliably reduce stress, anxiety, and depression because they calm the nervous system. It helps us with brain and focus. There's neuroimaging studies that have found in just 8 weeks that these practices increase brain matter in areas linked to attention, memory, and self-awareness. In terms of our physical health, mindfulness is proven to lower blood pressure, improve our immune response, and reduce inflammation, which I think a lot of us are dealing with a lot of these days, right? It also improves heart rate variability, which I can tell you firsthand with all these gadgets that track vitals, that it is true that these practices affect these things and other key markers like cardiovascular and nervous system health. And then in terms of work and daily life, these practices help us with improved attention, decision making, and that thing called resilience, especially in high stress environments. And so the bottom line is it works because it trains the brain and the nervous system towards calm and clarity. And so with practice, we can become aware of our thoughts before we spiral and are able to take a step back, observe, and respond skillfully instead of triggering a full-on stress response. There's certainly times where that is necessary and helpful, but most of the time it's not. So how do we do it? What's the practice? So you just purposely focus on what you're doing in any given moment and block everything else out. So even now, just in this session, focused wholly on what's being said and shown, and not kind of lost in your thoughts or distracted with your phone. So we're focused on what's going on. And when we notice that we're distracted, we come back. And we can do this in spurts, just for a few minutes at a time with whatever we're doing. We can make whatever we're doing a mindful activity. There are other simple practices. These may seem small, but they are mighty when practiced consistently. One of my favorites is a 60-second breath break. There's a variety of methods out there, but you can try 4-2-6, which means that we inhale for a count of 4. We hold at the top of that inhale for a count of 2, and then we exhale for a count of 6. So you can try it right now if you like. Just close your eyes, bring your attention to your breath. Just notice what you're doing, or the breath is doing rather. And now take a deep inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 1, 2. Exhale for 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then you'll do that 3 times for that 60-second hold. We can also make mundane chores or everyday routines mindfulness exercises. So doing the dishes, laundry, vacuuming, while you're doing that task, do it with your whole attention instead of kind of getting lost in your mind or listening to a podcast. And while you're doing that chore or task, focus on your breath. That's what's going to keep you grounded in the present moment. So again, any mundane chore can be a mindfulness exercise. You can also use time where you're waiting to do mental training. And this is one of my favorite ways of getting this in every day is when when I'm waiting for the elevator to go up 10 flights of stairs, I'm taking 2 breaths. When I'm waiting in line at the grocery store, I'm doing some breath work. When I'm waiting at the water fountain to fill up my 32-ounce water bottle, I'm able to drop in a couple mindfulness or breath exercises. So just a few minutes of mindfulness a few times a day pay off like compound interest, I promise. So you want to invest every day. And then very quickly, before we actually sit in a little bit of meditation, what does meditation have to do with all of it? So mindfulness and meditation are related, but they're not the same thing. So you can think of mindfulness as the skill, kind of being aware of what's happening right now. And then meditation is the practice time where we train that skill. So meditation when you sit and practice paying attention on purpose, usually to something like the breath or a mantra or a picture, or it could be a candle, whatever it is to help you stay anchored in the present. And when the mind wanders, because of course it will, when we notice that it has, we just gently bring it back to whatever our anchor is. And that's not failure, that's the exercise. And over time, that kind of practice makes mindfulness more available for us in real life, like during difficult meetings or conversations, or in that horrendous traffic, right? Or right when we're about to send that email that we just hammered out when we were really angry, right? Like who's sent one of those to their boss and very quickly regretted it. So meditation isn't about becoming calm forever or completely clearing your mind. It's more like a rehearsal so that when life gets loud, we don't forget to pay attention. So to sum it up, before we meditate, mindfulness is the skill of paying attention on purpose. Being present counteracts our autopilot, reduces our stress, and allows us to make better choices. And consistent practice strengthens our focus, emotional balance, and resilience. Okay, so I'll stop there. And now I want to move us into a little bit of meditation so we can kind of try and practice this paying attention on purpose. So I invite you all to get comfortable. You can go ahead and shut off your mic and your video. I'm going to close down mine as well. Um, Go ahead and settle into a meditation posture, whatever kind of relaxed yet comfortable, alert position you can find for your body. Go ahead and let your eyes close. If you're not comfortable closing your eyes, that's okay. Just simply hold a soft downward gaze. And now bring your attention to your mind and your thoughts and anything else that may be coming up for you, like emotions. And set the intention to release anything that doesn't concern you for the next 10 minutes or so, or actually, it's going to be more like 6. Give yourself permission to let it all go. You've got nowhere to go, nothing to do, but be here right now. Bring your attention to your breath. Just breathe naturally. Don't try to force or control your breath. Just observe what it's doing. There may be a place in your body where you feel your breath the most. Sometimes that can be in the belly, sometimes it's in the chest or in the nose. Wherever it is for you, just watch your breath move in and out of that place. And now let's look to deepen our breath. So take slower, deeper inhales, allowing your belly to rise up. Move into your chest and then slowly exhale out the mouth, looking to really empty your belly. If you'd like, let's try that 4-2-6 method here. So again, you can take a deep inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 1, 2. Exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 2 more times at your own pace. Let your breathing return to normal. And now let's move into our So Hum meditation. So, this is a mantra meditation with the idea that we repeat a word or set of words, and that ever so slight mental vibration helps to settle the mind, helps us to move beyond the turbulence there. And so hum, the sound of those words, mirror the natural sound of our inhale and our exhale. But if so hum doesn't resonate with you, you can use any other word or affirmation that does. You can simply silently follow your breath with an in, follow it with a silent out. You can go back to counting your breath for a certain number in and a certain number out. Do whatever is comfortable for you and insert it for so hum. So now taking a slow, deep breath through your nose, think the word so. And then as you slowly exhale, silently repeat the word hum. So hum. So hum. And continue to allow your breath to flow easily with no effort on your part. You're just simply watching it and silently repeating so hum with each inflow and outflow of your breath. Whenever you notice that your attention has drifted, as it surely will, to other thoughts in your mind or sounds in your environment or even sensations in your body, as soon as you know you've drifted, just gently return to your breath, silently repeating so hum, and allow that gentle vibration to take you deeper into silence. I'll watch the time and let us know when to finish. Continue to sit with your eyes closed, and you can release that mental repetition. Bring your awareness back into your body, back into the room. Maybe take a deep breath here. Wiggle the fingers and the toes, preparing the body to re-engage. Before we do, let's plant some intentions for living a happy, harmonious life. Setting an intention in that silence we've just created is like a sowing a seed in some fertile soil. So here are 4 things that you can intend for in your days. And if you like, you can silently repeat them to yourselves. Joyful, energetic body, loving, compassionate heart, reflective, alert mind, lightness of being, and laughter. Let those intentions go work their magic, and when you're ready, you can gently open your eyes. Okay, my friends, how was that? Feel a little calm, maybe a little settling down? Hopefully, you can take that throughout the rest of your day.